Should you practice your tricks at the skate park before taking them to the streets, or should you head to the street spot and just figure it out there? This is a never-ending debate in skateboarding, and both sides have some very valid arguments. A skate park allows you to lock in and focus on a trick in a controlled environment that was purposely built to be skated. But street skating is unpredictable and the obstacles aren't built for skateboarding. So the dimensions are always harder to skate, the ground's usually more rough, and you have to deal with a lot of external factors like pedestrians, traffic, security guards, and even the police. So which option is the better way to go, and which one will make it easier for you to get your next clip in the streets? I'll go into more detail of the positives and negatives of both sides in a second, but I've got a big day of street skating coming up this weekend, and I've got 3 specific tricks that I'm going to try and film. So I've purposely come to this skate park to practice and get ready for this weekend, so that when it comes time to film, I can hopefully get my tricks done a lot easier and a lot more comfortably. So I'm going to get into working on my first trick on the flat bar that's here, and then I'll get into the positives of both methods so we can see which style will make it easier for your next street session.
So I was unaware that my lavalier mic was busted at this point, so it didn't record any of the audio from this little segment, so I'm going to have to voice over this section. But I'm pretty much explaining that the first spot I'll be skating this weekend is a very similar flat bar to this one, except it doesn't end. So I've got an idea to feeble as long as I can, and then instead of popping over to the other side, I want to pop to the back tail and then transfer over. I won't be sliding very far on the back tail, but I feel like that's cooler to have a rail that doesn't end to do that, because you're also transferring at the same time instead of just a rail that you're ending and you can just slop into a back tail and come off. So I'm gonna start here doing a feeble back 180, a feeble pop over, and then a feeble back lip, just to get the recipe going. They're the kind of tricks that will transfer to the feeble to the back tail. So I'm getting these tricks done first. Feeble back 180 worked first try, so I was hyped with that. Good start to the session. Feeble pop over was also first try. This session started going really well from here. The feeble back lip was also first try, even though it was sketchy as, but I'm taking that because I didn't come here to do that. So I'm explaining when I do feeble to back lip, I use my back chuck as a scoop, like I scoop into the back lip as if it's a disaster. I can't do that with the back tail because if I scoop that way, my back chuck will end up on the wrong side of the rail. So it's much harder for me to do feeble to back tail, but I haven't done this trick for over a year either. So I wanted to use this time to practice, get my head around the trick again. So when I get to the spot, it's a lot easier to try. So some of the attempts were going all right. I was getting into that tail, but I feel like I was popping over too far. On some of them, I just wasn't in the right position. So I just did something out of it. That one, I don't know what that was. I kind of just glitched and my body turned, but also didn't turn. Getting closer to the feeble back tail, more 180s out. Sometimes I just, from instinct, if it's not right, I just do something out of it, like that feeble shove it out. None of this is planned. I'm purposely trying to feeble back tail. And the look on my face there is because it just came out of nowhere. But I realized if I pinch so hard, my front toe side wheel locks in too harshly and it gets stuck. So I kind of had to sag the feeble away from the rail to give it room and clearance to come into the back tail. So I wanted to get one more with knowing that technique so I could practice for the weekend. This one went wrong. My shoulders turned front side, so I just slopped it into a backside blunt slide. That one felt good and I was kind of hyped because I understood how it worked now. So from there, I got the idea to do feeble to blunt again, because if I can go and get 2 clips on this rail, I'll be even more hyped. So feeble back tail and then followed up with a feeble back blunt, because that's an easier trick. So hopefully I can get those 2 tricks back to back this weekend.
So the positives of practicing your trick at a skate park before taking it to the streets is the skate park, like I said, it's a controlled environment. Everything is built here with the dimensions and purposes of being skated. So the dimensions are usually perfect and the ground is usually nice and smooth and perfect too. Besides, when you come at peak hour and the skate park is packed, you don't have to deal with pedestrians, traffic, security, or police. So that helps you just hone in and focus and lock in on the trick that you're trying to do. There's no external factors getting in your way and freaking you out. There's also no time limits to a skate park. You can try your trick over and over and over and over. If you go to a street spot and you're trying to film a trick, your time is limited. As soon as you get to the spot and you start trying, the clock is ticking straight away. Depending what the spot is, of course, but usually security is on their way to come kick you out, or someone that works at the building, or even pedestrians getting in your way, or traffic or something. You usually have a short time limit when it comes to street skating. And the last thing I would say is it gives you a lot more confidence when you get to the spot. For me personally, I like knowing that when I go to a street spot, I have my trick down, setup's working well, well and it's going to perform how I want it to. So all of those external factors are gone and I can just focus on the actual trick. That's what I like to do anyway. So if you didn't know already, I'm a big advocate for practicing before you go into the streets. Now, the positives of going straight to the streets and practicing or doing your trick at the spot without practicing beforehand at a park is you get a lot better at problem solving. Street spots, like I said, they're not designed to be skated, so the dimensions are always off. Usually the run-up's harder to hit, the angles are off, the ground's more rough. So when you do skate a street spot, you have to think of a way how to actually hit it. Even if the spot itself is perfect and the dimensions are perfect, usually everything around it is harder to skate too. So street skating and figuring out the street spot makes you so much better at problem solving. Another positive is that you're doing that trick on that specific obstacle that you're planning to do it on. So for me, this flat bar I just practiced on is very similar dimension, same thickness as well, same height as the one I'm going to go and skate this weekend. But you're not always lucky to have the same kind of replica as that. So you can practice at a skate park, but the street dimensions of the spot that you're going to be skating could be completely different. It could be higher, it could be steeper. So it doesn't always directly translate to the street spot. So going to the streets and skating the exact obstacle, you know exactly what you're going to get and you're practicing on the thing you're trying to skate, if that makes sense. And just to add to that, sometimes when I've gone to skate spots and I've had a trick in mind, when I get there, I realize the spot is different to what I thought, or the run-up's different, and the spot actually chooses the trick. So you could have practiced all this time at the skate park, got your trick dialed in, get to the spot, and it's not what you thought, so you have to change your trick anyway. So a lot of times I've had to switch up my trick and do the trick that the spot kind of dictates. I'm hoping this makes sense, but I've gone to street spots and it just doesn't work the way I want it to, and you have to figure out how to skate it, and that's how you get better at actual problem solving. And the last positive I would say is it's so much more fulfilling to learn a trick in the streets or just to do a trick in the streets. For that same reason as it's not meant to be skated. So for you to conquer a street spot and land a trick, or film a trick especially, or learn a new trick, it's so much more fulfilling doing it on something that wasn't meant to be skated. You just feel a whole lot better than just doing a trick on something perfect at the skate park. If you guys know any more positives to either practicing at the skate park or heading to the streets first, let me know in the comments below. But now I'm going to get into practicing my second trick on the little down rail here, and then I'll get into the negatives of both sides of the argument. So I realized my lavalier microphone was cracked inside, so that's why I didn't record the feeble to back tail audio properly, but I'll be using this. But the next spot I'm going to be skating on the weekend is another rail, but this one kind of goes down and then comes up again from the middle. So it's kind of like a shootout rail, if that makes sense. Now we don't have that here, so I'm going to have to practice on this cross and down rail as the equivalent, which just shows how the positive of skating in the street, you're skating that exact obstacle. This is nothing like it besides it being a rail, but this is all I have here besides the flat bar. So the trick I have in mind is a bit of a grommy trick, but it's a back 50 shove it out. I feel like that'll be cool because you grind down, come back up, and then you can shove it out as if it's like a fly out kicker. But when I get there, hopefully it all goes well. I'm gonna try back 50 first and then back 50 shove out. That'll do. On to the shove out. This one's a little scary because if I don't shove it properly, it can go primo, which we don't want. Could have done it first try, but I got scared. I think dropping in is too much speed. It might look dumb and sound dumb, but because I'm wanting to shove it out at the end, I want to go as slow as possible to have time to process the shove it. If that means kick turning and grinding slow, I'll take it. Need to get it in front of me more. I know I was going slow, but the wind slowed me down too. Wheelie grind. I'm just going to clip this mic to my shirt. It's getting too annoying to hold. It's going to be flapping around my neck, but still works. Okay, let's just do this trick because we need to practice the third trick for the weekend coming up. All right, I'll take that one. On to the next trick. The final spot that I want to film a trick on this weekend is a bank spot. This is a perfect bank to skate into, so I'm skating into the bank, but this other one, you have to come at an angle and skate into the bank there because there's no run up in front of it. So this is all I have. Hopefully it translates when the day comes, but I'm thinking a quirky one, nollie double flip, because that's the angle, or nollie heel. So either one of those. I don't do many flip tricks overall, and I've only filmed 2 flip tricks. I've only got 2 flip tricks filmed, so I need to get another flip trick. I need to get more, but I'm hoping to get one this weekend. Nollie double flip is just like a quirky thing I feel like would look cool if I do it right. But maybe, I think nollie heel would be the most realistic one. I can't really travel backside because the rail's there. So the spot is like, this is the bank and that's the run up. So maybe like the nollie kind of stuff behind me sounds good. The nollie double flip's kind of scary. It's a crusty bank too. Flip tricks are scary. I honestly don't know what's going to be easier on the day. Maybe I was hopeful and that spot's not going to be for me, because if I'm freaking out at the skate park, what chance do I have at the spot that's way crustier? I'm going to try nollie flip first, just to start this part of the session. I'll do nollie flip, then I'll think of either nollie double or nollie heel. That's enough talking. Oh, slow. Oh geez, that was a bit rough. Just thinking of the angle of the spot, I'm not sure nollie heel will even work anyway, because you have to travel to the left, and that's kind of awkward coming behind myself. Don't listen to that back. Oh, that was not clean. I don't need to redo this, I just want a clean one. What am I doing? These are the weirdest nollie flips. I'm getting more used to that movement anyway though, so the nollie double flip could happen. It would just be cool to have a nollie double flip in my part. I've got a long wheelie grind already, having a nollie double, and then I'm also planning to go and film a Benihana. I'd love to have this little section of my part where it's just a bunch of illegal tricks in a row. I just like the idea of that. There's no point redoing them. I didn't come here to nollie flip, so nollie double, I will try a couple on flat first because I don't do this trick super often. Oh my gosh. First try, definitely wasn't pretty. It'll be much different into a crusty bank too. I believe I just did nollie double first try. Oh, that could work, hey. I wasn't committing to that, I just wanted to test it, but the feeling was definitely there of it being possible. I guess I should just try, start committing, but this one's so sketchy. So often I've tried this trick and I landed primo. It's probably not ideal to do a double flip trick on a 9.75 inch board too, but maybe I'll set up a 9.4 or a 9.5 when I go skate. Or maybe I'll just run the same setup because this is what I always skate. I'm gonna try my absolute hardest to commit to it this try. I always use street skating as a motivation. Oh, if you can't commit to it here at this smooth, perfect skate park, how are you even gonna land it in the streets? And then that fires me up. So let's see if I can harness that fire and fully 100% attempt it right here. Full commit. Oh, I did commit. I could have, I can't really tell if I moved my front foot out of the way or it just didn't get back to me, but that felt promising. I'm getting so excited at the idea of landing, filming a nollie double flip in the streets. It'd be so sick. And that way, that's a nollie flip trifecta. I've got a nollie flip, nollie backside flip, and then a nollie double flip. That'll be the only 3 flip tricks I've filmed, and they're all nollie flips. Feeling all right. Doesn't feel any harder because it's 9.75, because that's just the size I'm used to at the moment. But for sure, 9.2, 9.4, 9.5, it'll definitely flip easier and be lighter. But switching up my setup before then might just wig me out even harder, make it harder. Oh, we're on. We are on. I've only pretty much ever done this on flat, never into a bank, and definitely not at the streets. So I'm just trying to think of, I wouldn't say unique, I wouldn't say nollie double flip's a unique trick, but just tricks that people wouldn't expect or that I don't do too often. That's why I want to get a Benihana as well. Just almost funny tricks, but I'm doing them seriously and I'm going to use them for a street part. If that makes any sense at all. Either way, I'm landing this nollie double flip right this try, 100% right here. I didn't lie. I landed it. I don't know if I want to do that again. Let me watch it back. Hit the video ref. See what the video ref says. You know what? I will take that. It definitely wasn't pretty, I didn't toe drag or anything, but the purpose of today was to come and do these tricks to get my confidence up, drill these tricks in to know that I can land them when it comes time to film this weekend, which is what I've done. That nollie double flip didn't take too long, like I didn't waste too much energy on it, but just knowing that I did one into a bank, that's gonna help so much more on the weekend. Feeble to back tail, feeble to back blunt, that's gonna help a lot more. The 50 shove it might not translate as much because the rail goes down and up. Just getting it anyway, it still builds the confidence a little bit up, knowing that I've got those tricks down. So when you're in the streets, then mentally you're ready to go. So you might have already picked up on a few of these from what I've already said, but the negatives of practicing at a skate park before going to the streets is getting used to these perfect conditions. So this park is super smooth, most skate parks are really nice and smooth, and all of the dimensions to their obstacles are perfect. A street spot is always going to be harder to skate no matter where you go. Like I said, the ground's rougher, the angle to hit it is harder, sometimes the run up is non-existent, you have to make it up yourself. The dimensions are off. All of these make a street spot more fulfilling to get a trick, but practicing at the skate park too much can make you soft in a way because you get used to these perfect conditions too much. And when you do go to street skate, it becomes such a different world. It's so much harder. The other negative that I deal with a lot because I'm at parks a lot is skate parks can become just as busy and just as chaotic as the streets. That's why I choose my times perfectly. I come here early in the morning when all the kids are at school and everyone's at work, so there's a very high chance of this place being empty and me getting it to myself. That's just another thing to consider. Now the negatives of going straight to the streets and practicing or just doing a trick in the streets without pre-practicing at a park is, like I said, you're working against time. Whether it's security, police, pedestrians, the shop owners kicking you out. If you're in a school, the teachers could come and kick you out. I've skated spots in a car park where it just gets too busy with cars and you can't skate it anymore. All of these external factors are ticking down and your clock is very limited in the streets, from my experience anyway. Another negative from my experience is you're less confident and a little bit more scared in the streets. So here at a skate park, I can work my way up. I can hit the flat bar, I can hit the out rail, I can hit the down rail. You can kind of work your way up to your harder tricks. In the streets, you go straight to the spot to do the trick. It's hard. You can go and warm up at a skate park or a different spot and then go to your main spot, but it's a lot harder to just click into street skating mode at a big scary spot and just start trying the trick. And for me, I'm a lot less confident if I'm trying something new. For example, if I went to this rail this weekend and I wanted to do the feeble to back tail, I have not done that trick for over a year. It would have taken me so long to figure it out at the spot. By then, there's lots of cars going by, the bottle shop person right out the front could have kicked me out. There's a bus stop there, or the uphill run up could just use all of my energy before I even figure the trick out. So I am a lot more confident if I have a trick prepared and kind of practiced before I go to the streets. That's not always possible because the practicing spot at the skate park doesn't always translate to a street spot, but I like to just know that I have a trick down before I go to film it. So now we know all of the positives and negatives to both practicing at the skate park before the streets or heading straight to the streets. Let me know which method you would be using most and which one feels more comfortable to you. I know the traditional core way of skating is just to go street skating. You learn in the streets, you skate in the streets, you get the clip in the streets. It's all to do with street skating, which I do agree to a degree, but for me and in my experience, it helps me a lot to lock in, practice a trick, have a little bit of a fun session like I did today, because I also got an extra skate session in and I had a fun session here. And knowing that these tricks are not so much going to work in the streets, but knowing that I have them locked in, ready to go, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable when it comes time to street skate. So I'm a big advocate for practicing before going street skating. As much as people say that's cringy and I'm soft for doing that. So let me know which method you would prefer. Are you going to go to the park and practice first, or do you just head straight to the streets to get your trick? Neither way is better. In my opinion, I like to practice first, but there are a lot of benefits to just going to street skate. But let me know which you prefer and if you've got any other positives or negatives to either sides. And check out the fun little session I had before I got sick at this cool little curb spot in this video right here.